Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 13, where we'll be untangling the often confused terms of graphic novel and comic book. While both are illustration-based storytelling formats, they are not interchangeable. Now, let's dive into what defines a graphic novel. A graphic novel is a complete narrative expressed through illustrations and text, much like a traditional novel. It has a beginning, middle, and the end, and providing a sense of closure with each volume, even as part of a series. A great example you've already encountered is They Called Us Enemy, which blends memoir with history. This week, we're going to explore El Defo by Cece Bell, which weaves themes of disability into graphic novel format, drawing on the author's own childhood experiences with deafness. Now, what about comic books? A comic book usually forms part of an ongoing serialized story, often released weekly or monthly by publishers like Archie Comics, Marvel Comics, and DC Comics. I don't know if you know Archie Comics, but they've been around for a while, and I love picking them up at the grocery store, especially at one summer, my family and I went on a trip around the US, and everywhere we go, we would like to pick up some Archie comics, and that's the way that we spend our time reading. And these narratives can stretch over years or even decades, making comic books more episodic in nature. So, what are the key differences between a graphic novel and a comic book? Graphic novels are typically standalone stories or a series of books with a more definitive narrative. They can span various genres and tackle a myriad of subjects. Comic books, on the other hand, are, as I said, serials that may leave you hanging until the next installment, or you might have to read the previous book in the series in order to understand the next part, and are often associated with superheroes and fantastical elements. Both, med- both mediums boast complex characters and in depth backstories, but their publishing frequency and the self contained nature of graphic novels set them apart from comic books. Understanding these distinctions not only help us to appreciate each form for its unique storytelling techniques, but also guides us in choosing the right materials depending on our mood or interest. And just as a side note here, as I am going through the different types of storytelling, you're probably also thinking, what about manga? In Korea, we call it manhwa, but manga originates from Japan, and it's typically read from left to right, which is the opposite direction of English language books. And comics is usually understood in kind of the Western context more, and are read from left to right. And so manga encompasses a vaster range of genres and targets various demographic groups, including children, teenagers, and adults. The art style in manga is highly stylized, with characters often having large eyes and expressive facial features. And I'll share some of that in the next section of the video.
Here, I thought this website was pretty good at explaining the differences, but this is an example of manga. And then when they talk about comics, they are usually talking about Western ways of this. This is Archie. And then here's a superhero version that we just talked about. And then here's the manga. That's a little bit of a difference of how it looks like. Obviously, like I said, there's more details to that.
Keep these differences in mind as they enrich your reading experiences and your appreciation for the art of storytelling. Especially for this week, as I said before, you're going to read El Depo. First, you're going to write a paragraph about your initial response after reading El Depo. Then watch the CC Bell interview, which the link is on the discussion board, and write a second paragraph about how your initial response was enriched by some of the ideas shared by the author illustrator in this interview. You must use specific examples from the story, but and also from the interview to show that you've read it and that you've understood it and how you're putting them together to help enrich your understanding of the storytelling. To support your answer, and also properly cite any external sources used. After you've posted your own entry, make sure to comment to at least 2 other posts in order to get full credit. Good luck, and I look forward to reading your responses.